Symetra has a new ultimate. Her turrets can be deployed from range, ladies and gentlemen, and the list goes on. We have the details here of the Symetra Rework. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa. Now, what we've got here is Jeff Goodman going absolutely crazy on the forums last night, going, hey, check out all these things that we're working on with Symetra. He basically outlines what they've done to the hero. Now, he does say, hey, this might not be set in stone, but a lot of these changes I think we're going to see because some of them are quite frankly ridiculous. So, what we're going to do here is go through the posts that this is Jeff Goodman, not Jeff Kaplan, have put on the forum, and we'll go through them in chronological order because we can sort of see like his thought process as he's making these posts. But it is very interesting that he decided to just give us all this information because as far as we know, the Symetra Rework is actually a fairly long way off. We currently have moved her to defense. Now, we knew this, didn't we, guys? Because Tim Ford told us in an interview. We tried a healer version which had her turrets healing instead of dealing damage, but it felt super awkward, especially with how fast Overwatch moves. That said, we are playing with a new way her turrets deploy. Instead of having to stick them directly onto a wall herself, she can now fire an undeployed version like a projectile which sticks to walls and ceilings. Once it sticks, it will unfold like it does on the wall currently when she builds them. This helps for a bunch of reasons, but one of the big ones is that it makes it a lot easier to play her on a fence or just be able to pre-position her turrets more easily and quickly. Now, this, I'm going to blow my own trumpet a little bit. This was something that I thought they would do. I've said this in multiple videos, like the ability to deploy turrets at range probably would help Symetra quite a lot. So it looks like they are going down that path, which I think is super cool. But actually, there are more details here which make it kind of a little bit crazy. So let's carry on with Jeff's post because he's made loads of posts. We will be here all day, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't get through the post. So he then says this. Currently, so somebody asked him the question, awesome. It's great to get an update like this. Thanks, Jeff. Do the turrets arc through the air like a Junkrat grenade or do they travel in a straight line? Now, Jeff says this. Currently, they will travel effectively, infinitely in a straight line. Think of them like Farah rockets. The projectile speed isn't super fast though, so enemy players can see them coming. They can't currently shoot them out of the air though, but we're still iterating and may allow this. So there is an element of counterplay there. If you see the turrets flying through the air, you're like, oh god, Symetra's trying to deploy turrets behind us. So you can make the call. You can't currently destroy them, but I'll be surprised if a D.Va can't just defense matrix them away. But we'll have to wait and see, because maybe their energy, like if their energy sort of orbs flying out, then some D.Va can't eat energy, can she? So yeah, that'll be interesting. We'll have to see how they go with that. All right, so Jeff actually says some more wonderful stuff, as you can imagine. So then he says this. There are no other changes to her turrets. We've lowered the max number to 3, both that she can hold and that can be deployed, but we've increased their damage and slow potential. They also have 30 health currently, though that number will probably change over time as we test. They still die quite easily, but there's a significant difference between dying to any damage and just having very low health. So, they're making the turrets more deadly. She's only got 3. They're effectively twice as powerful. So when you drop one turret, it's almost like dropping 2 at once. I think Jeff actually says that a little bit later on. But that is, again, a pretty huge change because this means you don't have to waste time deploying 6 turrets. You can just fire 3 turrets down and you can fire them at range. And then they can suddenly start doing what is effectively, I would presume, double DPS and double the slow effect to the target that they hit, which could be mega powerful, especially if she can keep repositioning them in the middle of a fight, which I think is what they're going for. So, the user Left Click Pro says, in typical Blizzard forum fashion, please no, turrets are literally going to be useless if you only give her 3. And so Jeff's like, well, so far we've only found the turrets to be much more powerful this way, not less. Keep in mind, it's almost like you're deploying 2 turrets at a time now. So, like I just said, since they are more powerful individually, you lose a little bit of map coverage, but overall, the turrets are actually more impactful, not less. Plus, spending less time redeploying turrets frees you up to do other things at the same time, rather than spending so much focus on moving around trying to keep your turret nest up somewhere useful, which again, just makes total sense. So those changes to the turrets, I think they're actually pretty funky. So the next thing he talks about now is her weapon, and this is a beautiful response, so check this out. Yes, we are still trying some things, but what's working pretty well right now is her primary fire changed to no longer lock on. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? No longer lock on, but works as a straight beam that is fairly thick and has increased range. It still has the potential to gain extra damage by dealing damage like it does now, but instead of going 30, 60, 20 DPS, it's currently 65, 130, 190. However, it now takes a combined 2 seconds of damage to level up to the next tier of damage instead of 1. This means the weapon has significantly more potential, but is more difficult to get to max power. Also, when hitting a barrier, it currently generates ammo instead of consuming it. This means not only is she good at taking down barriers themselves, but she's good at just generating charge of barriers and using that charge to take down enemies as well. What the hell, ladies and gentlemen? That is like giving her a Zarya beam. What? That is ridiculous. So they're basically giving her a big fat Zarya beam instead of her auto lock-on weapon, which I think will cure a lot of the problems of people going, oh, Symmetra's a low-skill hero, because now she's going to need to aim. That actually is a huge, huge, huge change what they've done to Symmetra. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, that is just insane. But wait, there's still more. Her alternate fire is still a charge-up large projectile, but it has a bunch of important changes as well. First off, it charges to max charge in 1 second. That's down from 2 seconds. Next, the projectile speed has increased significantly. Currently, it has changed from 10 meters per second to 30 meters per second, so it travels 3 times as fast. What the hell? Lastly, instead of piercing enemies, it now impacts enemies and environments and explodes, dealing area damage around it. What the hell? We have been heavily iterating on how much damage this ball deals now, but a direct shot has been hovering in the area of 130-ish, with a large percentage of the damage coming from a direct impact rather than the explosion. I'll say it here again, we are still pretty heavily iterating on this stuff, so it's all subject to change. Well, so this means Symmetra's primary weapon will now do way more damage if you can aim, which is a huge skill buff, and her secondary fire is a flying bomb, like a Junkrat bomb effect. 130-ish damage. I think Junkrat does 120 on a direct hit, I think. So does the Helix. Does the Helix Rock do 120? I think it does. That might be correct. But 130 damage if the orb hits you. That is... and it's also got splash damage. That's huge. That is really huge. That makes her very potent. Like, that gets rid of just this brain-dead microwave beam Symetra gameplay. That is just insane. Anyway, there is more, ladies and gentlemen. This is just beautiful off Jeff Goodman. What a legend. I guess at this point, I probably should have just posted everything at the same time, since everything always makes more sense in context, so I'll just post what's remaining. Her teleport is moving to her E ability, and the Photon Barrier is moving to her ult, but these have massive changes as well. The teleporter now works as follows. You place the exit like you normally do, except that you can place it up to 25 meters away, instead of only right in front of you. When you place the exit, the entrance automatically gets built right in front of you instead of at your spawn. Hello, Team Fortress 2. So we predicted this, right? Now, they did release a card showing number of players teleported, and it was a very high number, or like amount of teleporter uptime or something like that, which indicated that it can't be the ultimate ability anymore. And this is what Jeff is confirming. It is not. The teleporter is a standard ability, but you can deploy it around the map. That is ridiculous. It only lasts a short time, but allies can use it freely as they normally do. But there are some new things you can teleport as well. We're experimenting with what works and what doesn't, but currently you can teleport things such as, now get ready, Torbjorn turrets, Diva's exploding mech, what? Junkrat tire. My god, as if they needed a buff anyway, suddenly a Junkrat rip tire comes from behind you out of nowhere and blows you up. What the hell, ladies and gentlemen? Or even a Diva bomb. That's even worse. Like, what about Diva throws her mech into the teleporter entrance and it comes flying out the exit, which is behind the enemy team, and detonates in the air? How will you avoid that? What? Now, I think that's kind of cool as hell, but that might be a bit too OP. We'll have to see. Like, I can't wait to test this on PTR. It's going to be insane. This has led to some sneaky fun plays that are really unique to her. It also allows you to get onto the high ground on a fence with a comp that might otherwise have trouble doing so. The health has been lowered to 300, and the entrance is now attackable as well. If either die, the other is destroyed as well. So pretty huge. But then get this is her new ultimate, and this just sounds completely, absolutely insane. So her ultimate is now Photon Barrier. Her Photon Barrier has moved to her ultimate and is now very different as well. Instead of placing a moving barrier, she places a static barrier wall that has effectively infinite size. I'll say that again. She places a static barrier wall that effectively is infinite in size. So it just goes, wherever you put it, it's just going to block that area completely. There is no, you will not be able to get above it, around it. It's just going to block that area off, which is crazy. It has 5,000 health. And she places this wall, much like Mei places her ice wall, which means you can place it at some range and you can also change the orientation. That is ridiculous. Now, for a while, we've been thinking about a sort of area denial hero. Somebody who puts up like a wall, like an electric wall fence or something like that, which blocks off an area. It looks like they've just given this to Symetra, and that's now her ultimate. Being able to completely block off an area of the map for 5,000 health is crazy. Because to burn through that much health is going to take one hell. Think about what this could do. If Genji's using like a nano blade, you could just drop the barrier in his face, and what's he going to do? It's just going to cut him off. Yeah, it's going to cut everyone off the other side, and your team can probably still walk through it, possibly. Or maybe the enemy can walk through it, but they just can't fire through it. See, that's the other thing, because it is a barrier, right? We don't know. Maybe what I've just said isn't true. Maybe it just functions like a normal barrier, not like a hard sort of wall. We'll have to wait and see. This is just crazy stuff, guys. Also, again, he just said, look, this is fairly early, and we've still only recently started working on the visual animations and sounds, so it's a little ways out. I don't have an ETA when you guys will get a chance to see or play her, but with this, it hopefully won't take very long. Wow. And also, a shield generator is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. It looks like Symetra is becoming a high-skill hero. I think that's pretty good, because let's be honest, I think over time when players get better at Overwatch, they generally gravitate, or maybe they want different things from heroes. I don't know, but I think this will make her more playable, because even right now I'm thinking, oh my god, this is going to be huge. Like the teleporter, you could chuck that and move your team around really quick. You can move them to different positions. The beam seems to do a ton of damage. Honestly, a primary weapon is the thing which has interested me the most, because being sort of like Zarya's beam and doing a shed load of damage, 190 DPS a second. What? You just would delete the DPS. What the hell? That's crazy. The alternate fire being an exploding orb that travels 3 times as fast as the current one. That is insane. My god. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. These are the Symetra Rework details. Let me know what you think about them in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Toodaloo.